Dave, would you hand me my phone? It's behind you on the table.
Yep.
So I'm gonna let them know. Okay. Okay, we'll just wait till they log in, but I've confirmed we are there. And then once I can, I will rename myself. I'll rename us. See if I can do that now. I don't think I can. I can't because, yeah.
You're not sound.
Okay, and I'm going to just send them a message and yes, it's right there on the left. You'll see the door.
Yeah. Yeah, why is short-lived? Patience.
What?
Why is short-lived patience?
Oh, yeah.
It's very different than
Yeah,
muffins and
yeah,
this is kind of very interesting.
I love that one. That
Very
one,
interesting, all of that.
that sort of, is kind of crazy.
It just- that will be You haven't liked the sound yet, huh?
Yep, so this is okay. This is-
We're already.
I just sent them a message saying we're on.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, you know, it's sometimes things happen.
You're in, they'll get started to the other. Sure.
But I verified that we're in the Rotary Club of Clinton, so.
Yeah, good.
So I'll just sort of keep an eye out for them and see what they say and do like, hey, you know, it's good to be early. Because then things can happen and you don't have to rush. I have to say, Dave, I think I hope the Supreme Court really kicks in and starts exercising.
It's initially forwarded into the branch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Oh, they may have let us in.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. It changed. Something changed. Send them a chat. Let me see if I can share now. I know sharing isn't turned on. I'm gonna test. Testing.
Good, good choice.
Yeah. Okay. We'll just let them have their time.
Yeah.
Yep.
You could say Supreme Court, you'd like to see that actually act like a
Well,
good branch of government.
well, you know, the fact that they allowed things to progress and impact so many lives of these, I mean, all of this stuff, people die because aborts happen. And people have lost jobs and the whole divisions. People have lost their jobs. Departments have been dissolved. And to try to go back and make that right, if ultimately the decision is, I don't understand how they could have done that. And not, I mean, it didn't seem responsible to me to allow him to do that. It's like the tariffs. I mean, it's like he's been playing all these people in Russia and Ukraine. It's just killing me.
Yeah, and I remember the famous words of Trump for election or even the term election. I'll have one day.
I know.
I don't think it should.
Oh, here we are. Here we are.
That's okay.
Back here.
Hello. Can you hear
Hello.
me?
This
How's
is
our
Susie.
sound level? How's our sound level?
That's it. We still
Is our sound level good?
Yes.
Okay, and I'm going to try to share my screen just to make sure. And then I'm going to turn it over to Dave. And I'm just gonna be in the background today, okay?
Okay.
I'm just gonna wait because I'm going to let him use the headphone and have complete control.
Jennifer, I'll call you up to
Okay.
introduce these guys.
Does that look good?
What?
Yep,
But I'm
we
gonna
can
call you up
see
there.
you and we can see the presentation.
Perfect. All right, then we're good.
No,
And,
I left it at the
and
library. That's why I
you
called
are
Andy.
Susan, right?
My phone isn't working.
You left
No, I
it at the
did it on the
library?
library.
I'm
Your
going to
library.
just
Yes.
hang up
That
my
doesn't work?
headphones
My
until
phone
you
isn't
guys are
working
ready.
in my office. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Well,
We're good. We're
I'm
just gonna
sorry.
listen now.
Oh,
We'll let you know. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for testing.
welcome.
Bye-bye. Okay, you're all set.
Where's the welcome thing?
Okay, so when you do it, you come down here
Okay. Yeah.
and then do it, and I'll help you.
Yeah.
I'll help you. So you
I
don't,
know what you mean then. Yeah.
Yeah, and the sound level she said was good. So I think they start at 12. So do they have, I think they have I think their actual meeting starts at
There's Brenda.
you saw Brenda?
Is there one? Yeah, some shade in the shoe.
Okay.
Good. Do you know which city the Rotary Club is in?
Clinton, Iowa.
Clinton.
Oh, no, she was talking.
She's trying to get deep. Yep. There you guys are. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
What time does your meeting start?
I can't hear.
Oh.
I can't hear hers.
It's on.
She probably
Does
thinks
your
I'm
meeting
calling.
start at 12:30 like ours does?
No, I think they're 12.
Okay, well, we're ready to go
12.
when you guys, so don't expect me to talk, Brenda, because Dave's gonna be in control. Okay.
Okay, we
so-
have a business first, so it'll be
Yep.
about 12:15.
No problem.
Good. Okay, I can hear you about that.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see you then.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
So you can sit there and listen.
If you could just mute, that would be great.
Yes, 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 yes. Thank you. Sorry.
Taking off to be.
Good.
Yep.
Ready?
I didn't turn the mic on.
Oh, it's not on. How do you know when it's on?
I should have a screen on the thing there.
Oh, there it is. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Pastor Ray, can you come up for invocation?
Thank you for the honor. I just put a sign up at the Victory Center. It says, your attitude determines your direction. Pretty cool stuff. And I think all of us here we can agree that our attitude together, compiled together, we achieve a lot of things. So let's pray. Father, we give you praise and glory right now for this incredible meeting this morning, actually this afternoon. And we ask your blessings on the food that we are partaking, and also, Father, our fellowship together. Father, we're thankful for so many men and women, Lord God, that have sacrificed their lives in sponsoring those needs that are in our community. And this is the heart of being a Rotarian. And we thank you for the Rotary Club here in Clinton and the history and the legacy that they're putting together right now. Thank you for all the opportunity that we have to listen to great speakers that really impacts our lives in a powerful way, God. So thank you for our president, and thank you for all those people that are truly committed to being a Rotarian in a real way in this community of Clinton. We praise you and honor you in Jesus' name. And everybody said,
Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Thank you. Let's join me for the four-way test. Of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Oh, you may be seated. Oh, hey, good morning and welcome to Rotary. Happy Monday. I was told that since our last meeting, we need to congratulate Braden Roberts on the birth of a new baby. So, Braden, quick, what a healthy boy?
Yeah, healthy boy.
What's the name?
Jackson.
Jackson Roberts. Rock and roll. Congratulations, brother. Oh, hey, we'll do some announcements. First, I'm going to call up Carrie.
Up here.
Good afternoon. I have two just community announcements that came across my desk. Both are food security related, so that is of interest to the club, I think. United Way is doing a Food for Thought food truck festival. This is a rescheduled date from earlier in the summer. It'll be September 24th, 5 to 8 p.m. in the large parking lot that's near Big River Packaging. Free entry with a donation. You can take fresh produce, a monetary gift, and all that is going to support the United Way's food security initiatives. I know that flyer's been bouncing around on social media, but I'm happy to share it also if you care for it. So reach out to me for that. And then the other one, I lost it on my phone, but it is MAC FM, and the presenting sponsor is Citizens First Bank, and we do a Freezin' for Food golf outing. This year that is on Friday, October 3rd at Valley Oaks. So if you are a golfer and you want to get one more round in before it's too chilly this fall, consider October 3rd for the Freezin' for Food golf outing. Thank you.
All right. We did meet, some of us board members met this past week and we did a fantasy draft for our committees. So in the coming weeks, board members will be reaching out, asking you to be on committees. Just kind of be prepared for that and think about what you are able to do for our club. I'm gonna call up Paul, talk about Boo Bash.
Who was the first overall pick?
What?
Who was the first overall pick?
That's a state secret.
Would you like to sponsor that person?
But Braden, you should hear what the loser has to do.
Yeah.
That's
I assume it's no news to you that the Boo Bash is coming up at the end of next month, October 24th. As you know, that has two important fundraising parts. This is our basic fundraiser for the year, and there are two basic arms for that. One is sponsorships, and we are wrapping that up very rapidly now, and the other is auction items. Both parts of that are very important, and we are asking you to support both of those. I'm hoping that every member of the club is either a sponsor or an item donor, or you can join me in being both. I'm proud to be a sponsor, but we are also offering our cabin in Upper Michigan again. I hope you're not getting tired of seeing that on the auction list, but I hope you will consider either one or both. But now is the time to get auction items. The auction is an important part of that. And so I'm asking you to think about how you might contribute an item to the auction. Maybe it's a resource like I have. There's a place where people can go, or you can offer something that you do yourself. I remember how my father, who was born and grew up in India, offered to an auction, I think to the Kiwanis Club, because he was a Kiwanian, an Indian themed dinner, and he met people at the door. It was at their house, dressed in an Indian outfit, and my mother was wearing a sari and all that kind of stuff. Maybe be creative. Think about what you might do, what you might donate to the auction. There will be forms for that next week, so put your thinking cap on and get ready to fill one out. We'd appreciate it.
Paul, as far as sponsorships forms, do we just give a check to other forms? No.
I'll check this with Heather, but
Or
There's something on the table there about the fines.
okay, there are sponsor forms here. If you need some, hopefully everyone here has already signed up to be a sponsor. We'd appreciate that.
Thank you, Paul. Yeah, Boo Bash is our only big fundraiser for the year, so hopefully everybody has that on their calendar, and we're actively getting ready for it. So there'll be a lot of Boo Bash talk over the coming weeks. Okay, are there any other announcements from the floor? Well, I'm going to call up Andy Ferguson for fellowship.
All right, great.
You're not there to applaud yourself. It's
everybody.
really.
No, I appreciate everybody picking up the slack and applauding for me. You know, it makes you feel good to come up when people want you here. All right, so let's start with guests. Oh, I cannot read this. Maybe Richard and Brenda?
Richard and Brenda Diamond.
Oh, who's sponsoring them? All right, well, we're glad to have you, Richard. Brenda Diamond. Susie, you got a guess?
Stand up and introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. My name is Reverend Kokai. I think pastor for the 4 years churches I will Grandma, Sharon, Scarlett, stuff. I live with my wife. I do so.
Thank you very much. Well, thanks for coming. All right. And Jennifer has a guest.
Yes, I do.
Oh, I couldn't even see you over there.
Here I am. As I do it, Gary Tollers, please help me welcome to Rotary Considering Joining us.
All right. Thanks, Rick. All right, we had one birthday this week, and that's Christy Akins. So happy birthday, Christy. I didn't see her today, but if you see her, she got a year older. Make sure she knows you know. And then anniversaries, Ron McGovern is 47 years of Rotarian. He's barely older than that. So, all right, for fellowship, I like to try and do something different than what we always do. It's hard to do that because I want to incorporate trivia. So the format for which we're going to do the trivia is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to ask your table a question. If you feel like that question's too hard, you can get another question for a fee. Okay? And so this month is National Literacy Month. And the purpose is to promote reading and literacy across all ages. During this time, efforts are made to encourage people to read more, visit libraries, and support literacy-related causes. You can participate by donating books, volunteering to read to children, gifting a book to a friend, or engaging in family reading activities, or playing the literacy trivia game at Rotary. Okay. Also, today is International Literacy Day. So all our trivia is going to be based on literacy. Now, here's the deal. I did not give you multiple choice answers because that makes it too easy and then we don't get the upcharge, right? So I'm going to ask you a question. If you get it right, your table pays $2 a piece. If you get it wrong, you pay $3 a piece. If you want a new question, it costs you another $2. Okay? So here we go. Let's start with Andy Green's table because then he gets the hardest question. Because he likes to, he's pretty good at trivia. So we're going to take it away from him. Okay, here we go. Indian author Vikas Swarup wrote a 2005 novel titled Q&A, involving a game show that was loosely adapted into a 2008 British film that later won an Academy Award for Best Picture. What was the name of the adaptation?
It was Slumdog Millionaire.
Slumdog Millionaire is correct. Good job. You want another question?
Do we have to pay?
Sure.
Yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it.
Okay, Andy's sponsoring another question.
$12.
All right. Andy's sponsoring another question. Here we go. Because I got like 15 questions. There are only 5 pages. What classic character from Robert Louis Stevenson's Treasure Island inspired the common image of a pirate with a parrot on his shoulder?
Long John Silver.
Long John Silver's is correct. Long John Silver. Long John Silver's is a national food chain. So, also inspired by that character. Robert Louis Stevenson as well. All right, Braden, your table. You ready? Although written under a citrusy pen name, Daniel Handler was technically the author of a set of 13 books detailing the story of Sonny, Klaus, and Violet Baudelaire and their struggles to escape their unpleasant circumstances. What is the name of the series?
A series of unfortunate events.
Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events. Good job. You want another question? All right. I'll give you another question. What 1897 novel sees Abraham Van Helsing chasing down the title character in his namesake castle in modern-day Romania?
Dracula.
Dracula is correct. Modern-day Romania would have been Transylvania, right? All right, Sue, you ready?
Sure.
All right, here's your question. What's that? No, you get to for $10 more. 2 displaced migrant ranch workers are the dual protagonists of what 1937 novella with a title that starts with a preposition? It was also a movie. Quit saying it all loud. Whisper to yourselves. This is a game. You want another question? Or you want to shoot at the moon? Okay, the answer to that question, anyone?
Of mice and men.
Of mice and men was the answer to that question. Your new question is, in what classic work of children's literature do the characters Mike, Veruca, Violet, and Augustus get a tour of a confectionery manufacturing facility? Go ahead. Close. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, but we'll give it to you. Good job. All right, Dale's Table. First question. Let me get a hard one here so you have to buy it. First appearing in the children's book Cecily G. and the Nine Monkeys, what is the most famous character created by H.A. and Margaret Ray? Does anybody know that one? Curious George is the answer. Good job. All right, your new question. Easier. I'm going easier. Don't worry. Let's do this one. I thought was the easiest one on the page. Maybe it won't be. Dwalin, Smaug's Delight, and Thorin Oakenshield are sandwiches at a Houston cafe named for what 1937 novel? Come on, Smaug's Delight. Smaug? You don't get that? It's from The Hobbit. Oh, The Hobbit. I'll give you another easy one. I'll give you a more pop culture easy one, okay? The Imagination Library is a free children's book gifting program started by what famous singer in 1995? Dolly Parton. There you go. That was a free easy one. Okay. Last table in the back. Joe, you ready? I don't know if I have any hard ones. Not signifying someone smart with Lincolns, but rather a sewer dweller. What is the name of the dancing clown in Stephen King's famed horror novel, It? What's the clown's name? Pennywise, correct. Good job. Do you want a bonus question that's easy? Okay. Draco Dormiens Nunquam Titilandus, translated as never tickle a sleeping dragon, is the official motto for what fictional place of learning? Fictional school. That's the name. You gotta come up with the name of the school. Hogwarts is correct. Good job. All right, that does it. Pay your fines at the front after you're done. Thanks.
It's also library card sign up month. So if you don't have a library card, this is a great time to do it. And you can get $1 off your admission at the Sawmill Museum by showing your library card. So so I'm going to call up Jennifer Graff to introduce our program.
Thank you, Randy. As you know, this month is dedicated to women. And here's my thread for today for women. Former Seattle Club Chair Brenda Diamond and our friend Rotary has secured our speaker today, whose name is Dave Spicer. He is a retired attorney, 40-year Rotarian, and he will be speaking on climate change and how Rotary is making a difference and what we can do to help that. So with that, please welcome Dave. Hi, Dave.
Can you hear me okay? Are you able to hear me okay?
Yes, go ahead.
Well, thank you for inviting me to come from Seattle. Brenda and Richard, thank you for helping to facilitate this program. I remember years ago, it seems to me there was a bike trip that would go across the state of Iowa, and I was going to try to do it, and I had an injury and I couldn't do it. But do you still do that around the
Yes.
state? A great trip. I have a good friend who was able to do it, and he loved it. And he said the outpouring of support all along the way was wonderful. So great that you're doing that. And I noticed that you have Boo Bash coming up on October 24th. That sounds like a lot of fun. We could do something like that. Good luck on that. And I have to acknowledge Jackson, who is the newest born to one of your Rotarians, who's, I hope, a future Rotarian. So I am going to share today about climate change. I am not an expert. I am the Rotary District chairman for our Rotary District, which is Puget Sound. It's about 54 Rotary clubs, about 2,000 Rotarians. I've had a passion about the environment and climate since I was in college about 50 years ago. So I'm going to share a presentation that I think you'll find is sobering and serious, but also that there's incredible things that Rotary is doing around the world that makes it seem like we can really address climate change, mitigate the greatest consequences, and can do really important work. So I hope to share some serious information, but also end on a very positive note. Let me see. Okay. Let me change the slide here. We're having just give us a chance to figure out what's going on here. Okay. So I'm sure all of you have heard about climate change. Climate has been changing for millions and billions of years. There's no question. The difference today is that there's an acceleration of climate change, and we're experiencing it around the country and around the world. You're experiencing it in Iowa, I'm sure, with a little bit more extreme temperatures, maybe a few more tornadoes, maybe more extreme tornadoes. But in Washington, the same thing. We're experiencing some serious fires because of prolonged droughts. And it's clear from all of the available science that fossil fuels are a key culprit. They're not the only culprit, but fossil fuels and also so that CO2, carbon dioxide that's going into the atmosphere from oil and gas, but also methane gas that's being released. So those are the two main challenges. So the IPCC, that's a United Nations created organization that oversees and reports on yearly changes globally on climate change. And what they've determined is the last 10 years, as of 2024, have been the hottest in the planet. Interestingly, they have data going back to the 1850s. So they've monitored it for 150 years. And we've had times in our planet's history where we've had incredibly hot years. But this is concerning that the last 10 years have been the hottest. Last year was the hottest. And what is happening because of these climate changes? Well, I've noted several things. One is the sea level is rising. They measure it. There's absolutely no question it's rising. We're finding either serious flooding or water scarcity. Extreme weather events can be tornadoes, hurricanes, typhoons. Coral reefs are leaching because the temperature of the water is increasing. So the coral reefs, which are a source of marine habitat, are leaching. There's acidity in the ocean that's increasing. It's really affecting out here because we have oysters that are their habitat is being seriously affected by acidity. And then we have increasing heat events. So here in Seattle, we have mountains. I know Iowa, what's the highest elevation? I don't know. It's a few hundred feet, but out here we have as high as 14,000 feet with Mount Rainier. Skiing is a great passion. And what we're finding is that the snow season is shortening. The snow pack is diminishing. And you can go up in January and run into rain and not snow. So that's why this cartoon. If I'd known climate change was real, I would have brought my water skis. So that's one of the things we're experiencing, a very severely diminished snow cap. And what is that doing? That's affecting agriculture. They have to have more drought-resistant crops. It's affecting Eastern and Western Washington both. Now, I'm going to go through a series of slides to just show kind of what is the impact? Again, we've had hurricanes, we've had heat events before, but what I'm trying to show is that there is an acceleration of the severity and the frequency of these events. And class 4, class 5 are the most serious of the hurricanes. We've been having them increasing over the last few years. Did I push it? Tornadoes. The tornado frequency in the country, and you're in, I think, the part of the tornado alley that is involved and exposed. We're going to have, they project more and more tornadoes. I think last year we had 17 or 1,800 tornadoes. Some were extremely deadly. So we'll just have more of those. And that doesn't mean that this year or next year we'll have more tornadoes. It just means over the span of the next 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years, we'll expect more severe events. California fires, you probably all heard back in January, the Pasadena fire. There were actually 4 different fires, but the Pasadena was the most serious. And it was damaged over 15,000 structures, if you can imagine that. A lot of people were killed. I think over 25 or 30 were killed. It's a wasteland now. It's going to take years to restore that area, but that's just one fire. Costs hundreds of, well, the projection is over $200 billion of costs, if you can imagine that. We're having challenges in both the Antarctic and in the northern part of the Arctic. The temperatures are actually increasingly warmer than the rest of the planet. So we're seeing record melts. There have been studies that go back to the 70s on the melt. It's increasing. Now, what does that mean? It means that large chunks, what they call ice shelves, could in the near future, meaning next 50 years, could break off and will, in fact, no question, increase the level of the oceans. Flooding in our country. I think that if I remember right in my research, I think 2011 or 10 for Iowa, the Missouri River and the Mississippi River, there was major rain event, maybe some snow melt and some serious flooding. North Carolina this past year, serious flooding. Bangladesh, Pakistan is dealing with major flooding and dislocation of peoples. In the tens of millions of people having to move out of their homes. So that's another major event related. Here is a map that I pulled up that just shows it. The darkest red shows the biggest temperature increase, and Iowa is just on the fringe of that. What I have read is that I don't know what it's been like the last 30, 40 years for heat days, but the projection is that you'll have more days that are 95 to 100 degrees in the future. And that doesn't mean the whole summer will be like that, but you may have hotter days in your summer than you've had 30, 40, 50 years ago. All around the country, we're having that. You can see where we are in the Northwest in Seattle. We have a little bit, but we had back in 2015 or 16, we had 3 days that were 105 to 110 degrees, which is unknown for our part of the country. So we're going to see more and more high heat days. Here's another concerning picture. On the left is 3 years ago. This is a picture of the coral reef. Excuse me. On the right, you can see the color in the coral reef, very vibrant. That was taken 3 years ago. This picture on the left is the same coral reef that has died. And that was taken back in September of last year, so a year ago. And what does that mean? Well, the marine life, fish, other marine life depend on their early year of survival on the coral reefs. And there's concern that the coral reefs, if things don't change in the next 25, 30, 40 years, half of the coral reefs around the world may be severely diminished or die off. Next slide. So I just shared key pictures of the seriousness. Now, again, these things have happened in the past over millennia, but to our recorded history, the frequency and the severity over the last 50 years is very, very notable, and it's being recorded in real time. So here's the other major issue, property damage. Last year, there were 27 extreme weather events, so tornadoes, hurricanes, primarily, that caused about $180+ billion of damage. And insurance companies, and this is a reality I'm dealing with in Eastern, I have a cabin in Eastern Washington. We have had to deal with insurance companies denying us insurance coverage for fire. So we've had to be exploring that. Insurance companies are pulling out of a variety of states. I don't think Iowa yet, but Florida, California, LA, a whole variety of places, because the cost of doing businesses, they're having huge claims that they have to pay out on, and they're not sustainable. So we're going to see that more and more of a problem. I don't know what folks in Florida or the Southwest, Southeast are going to do, but we're kind of in a point of reckoning in the next several years where there'll be properties that will be completely uninsurable. So we talked about public health damage, the property damage and the events dealing with climate change. Well, public health is also being impacted. Anybody in Iowa who's worked on hot days on roofs, I used to do some construction before I went on to school, and I dealt with 85 to 90. It's hard to work in that, but imagine 100 to 105 degrees, heat stroke, skin cancers, people who have respiratory illnesses like asthma are being affected. Issue out here is smoke from fires. There was a lot of smoke that came down from the Canadian fires that I'm from Minnesota originally, and the air quality was severely diminished for at least a couple of weeks. It's also going to affect food insecurity. We're going to see places around the country that are wonderful food belts, and Iowa is one of them, that are going to be impacted. Diseases, because mosquitoes become more frequent, become a big issue, malaria and dengue fever. So there's also mental health challenges, anxiety and depression. My daughter is a mental health therapist, and she said there's a new diagnosis called climate trauma for young people who are very, very anxious and worried about what their future will be like. Do they want to have a family? Do they want to have children? A lot of anxiety about the future. And the direct costs from the World Health Organization say 10 to 12 billion. I think that's conservative. I think it's going to be significantly higher. We'll have to see. So the water crisis around our area, Southwest Mexico. Last May, there's been such a severe drought the last few years in Mexico City that they had a near collapse of their water system. We're talking 22 million people. Aquifers severely diminished. The snowmelt diminished. They were trucking in tens of thousands. Let me repeat that. Tens of thousands of trucks every month into key neighborhoods in Mexico City. In India, I've done some work on some water projects in India. India has major cities that are 7 to 10 million people. Those cities also are, during the summer months, having to truck in water. So it's an issue that is of real concern to different parts of the world. In the West, we're dealing with a mega drought that scientists say we haven't had since over 1,000 years ago. And it's playing out with Lake Mead and Lake Powell, hundreds of feet diminished of those dams. Now there's electric power, hydroelectric power, there's wonderful opportunities for recreation, but the big significance is for industrial and agricultural use that are being diminished. And there are 7 states, you see them there, that are all dependent on the Colorado River. And there has to be absolutely significant changes in our use of water and how we use it for agriculture and industry. Thanks. We have a challenge with aquifers. Most people don't think about this, but aquifers provide 70 to 80% of the water use. I think Iowa, I read, has 7 aquifers that you depend on. I think 80% of residents depend on it. Well, there's a problem because we're seeing less and less water, less and less snowmelt. So the aquifers are not being as replenished as they were 50 to 100 years ago. So they're getting depleted and they're not being replenished. So it's going to be an issue. I wouldn't be surprised if there's studies being done in Iowa on how to conserve water in different ways. That is not an issue that's going to go away. And agriculture in your part of the country really is a huge user of groundwater. So it's a challenge. They say, according to some studies, that over half of the aquifers in the United States are already being overpumped and losing water, not being replenished. So that's how serious the crisis is. Now let me kind of shift gears because I want to emphasize not just how serious the climate change is, but what are countries doing? What are municipalities doing? What are we doing in our country? So there are significant things globally that are happening. Renewable energy, and I'm talking primarily solar and wind, but also nuclear, that has had a significant growth in the last couple of years, 50% last year. And they expect by the next couple of years that the renewables will be the largest source of power. So outstripping oil, gas, coal. China does two things. On the downside, it builds a lot of power plants based on coal, but it's also the #1 producer of solar power and solar panels. India is another polluter, major polluter. They are doing more to adapt strategies to address climate change within their country. 7 countries in the world now are about 100% renewable, which is very positive. And the European Union has been modeling as much as possible to focus on renewables. So in the United States, I can just say for Washington State and a little bit about the country, we have a utility called Seattle City Light, and it's been zero carbon since 2005. But we have a big advantage because we get a lot of our fuel from water and hydroelectric plants. So that really brings us down to zero. You've heard of the Inflation Reduction Climate Act. It's been huge for incenting renewable energy. Unfortunately, there's been some pullback on that, which is affecting these companies that have been moving forward, trying to create more plants and more renewables, especially the solar power industry and the wind power. But there's still some very good, it's incentivizing industry. I'm hopeful that that'll continue. Native American tribes, universities, states, they're all working to reduce their dependence on fossil fuels. Texas, which you wouldn't necessarily think, is one of the leaders in the country on wind power. And that's significant. The Montana Supreme Court issued a ruling last December that the state had a constitutional right to a clean environment, and they're obviously a coal producer, but they recognize the right. And in our own state, Washington State, we have a number of initiatives that have been very successful reducing climate change. Now, these are some of the challenges, and I'm not going to get into the politics, but I'm going to deal with the truth here. We've withdrawn from the Paris Accords. Not a good thing. We need to be a leader globally on climate change issues and initiatives. So we've stepped back from the global leadership there. Recent legislation that came out in the last couple of months eliminates clean energy incentives. We should be moving more towards EVs and more industry that has solar power, wind power. It's really the future. The future is not oil and gas and coal. We need to transition, and that plan is the next several years. We need to have reliance on that, but we need to shift our gears as much as possible to renewables. Another thing that's not good for the country, in my judgment, is significantly cutting back the science and the workforce with FEMA, the National Weather Service, NOAA, EPA. We've lost 1,100 scientists from the EPA. We've lost a lot of scientists. FEMA, we're going to have more disasters, and we're undermanned now, and not a good thing. And a lot of scientists have been discharged, as I mentioned. Another thing that's happening that most people are not aware of is a key finding back in 2008 was a decision by EPA that clearly fossil fuels were exacerbating climate change. And so a lot of the rule and regulation based on that, they're now trying to modify that so that that finding no longer applies, which is a green light for less regulation on coal and gas and oil. Again, I don't think that's in the best interest of the United States or the world. So Rotary, I think most of you may know that we have 7 areas of focus. Literacy is one that you were sharing about this today. But a recent one, just 5 years ago, is on the environment and climate. And I underlined a key part of what the trustees approved. They're calling on all Rotarians to address the causes and reduce the effects of climate change and environmental degradation. That's a key part of what Rotary is about now. It's important that every club, and your club may be doing environmental work, I hope, but it's a call out to all Rotarians around the planet. So I'm just sharing about what some Rotary clubs are doing. I pulled up Haiti. It's been working hard to address solar and wind power and incentivize industry. You'll see the Taipei Club in China doing a lot of work with regenerative agriculture, limiting pesticides as well. The Madagascar Club is working on tropical forests. Tropical forests are key, just like old growth forests, to pull out of the CO2 out of the atmosphere. The Columbia Club in South America is trying to reduce organic food waste in some of the major cities. So all different kinds of ways to be involved. One of the big things is preserving the rainforest, and you've heard about the Amazon, so key, but there are rainforests in Indonesia and other parts of the world, not only to preserve the wildlife habitat, but it really is important for pulling out the CO2. So we need to do what we can to preserve what we have. And now I just have a slide on Rotarians here in our area, in the Seattle area. There are 10 of our Rotary clubs, 10 of 54 clubs now have an environmental sustainable committee. I don't know if your Clinton club does, but it's a great idea. We've done a lot of work to restore the Duwamish River. It's the main Seattle River here. It is a site of some toxicity that we're trying to work on to try to provide new tree saplings and new growth to try to mitigate against that. We work on pollination gardens to try to increase bee pollination. We have done work on urban forests where there's actually planting of trees in parking lot areas to kind of create a little forest. Lithium battery recycling has been a project we've done to try to recycle those batteries. So we're doing different things in our district and different Rotary clubs that are all, you know, in their own small way, they're all incremental, but people feel like we're doing something to help our environment. And it starts with an idea and a project, and it all is important. And there are thousands of Rotary clubs around the world now that are working on environmental projects. Lake Forest Park is a Rotary club in our area, and this is a picture of their pollinator garden. Here's a picture of Rotarians working on the lithium battery campaign that was last year. And so what I encourage you to think about, and again, I don't want to assume anything. I don't know where your club is about environmental sustainability, but if you don't have one, I encourage you to form a committee, 1 or 2 or 3 members. Think about just one project. It can be tree planting. It can be some recycling project. It can be pollination garden. It can be any number of things. Just try to do one project a year, promote it within your club and your community. It can be a great connector with potential people who want to become members. Become, you know, your district might have a district environmental sustainability committee. Ours does. We have about 12 people on that committee. And think about having 1 or 2 programs on the environment and and we're one program, obviously, maybe another one that's more germane to Iowa, to Clinton, to bring in just for awareness and education and to get people excited about doing something. And if you can, I would write down this website. It's called a carbon footprint test. It's called the Bright Action, www.brightaction.com. Takes about 10 minutes, and it'll walk you through all the things that you can do in your home and your business that actually are impactful. You might be, well, I guarantee you'll be surprised at some of the steps that you could do that make a difference. And so it's www.brightaction.com. Encourage as a takeaway, do it. Just, you'll find you'll learn a lot from it. Talk with other folks, talk with your friends about climate change. It's important to talk to people. Again, you know, we don't want to paralyze people, but we want to inform. Rotary has a role to play, and it's a way to also bring in new members. What I have done is we turn our temperatures down, my wife and I, every night to 60. I take a 1-minute shower. I turn the water on, turn it off, get some lathering going, then turn it on again. But I try to keep it to a minute to 2 minutes. The dishwasher is full. The washing machine's full. We have a hybrid vehicle. We're going to think about an electric, our next car. We're trying to just do different things. They're all manageable in anybody's lifestyle. So those are just a few things any of you can do. So just the last couple of slides. This is a project we did as a district on May 3rd with the Duwamish River, restoring it with trees and shrubs with a number of people. And I'll just show you a couple of pictures. And then June 5th, every year we have a World Environment Day. That might be something to think about doing. That's local to your Rotary Club. And then the last picture is just some pictures of our Rotarians working on the Duwamish River. So thank you for the chance to present. If there are questions, happy to respond to them, but I appreciate this opportunity. And thank you, Brenda, for making this possible.
If anybody has any questions, I'll make sure that they're set into the mic so that that he can hear them. Do you have any questions in the room? Yeah, Brenda.
Yes, I don't have a question, but I do know of one project. I was at the library the other day. Susan, could you share what's going on at the library?
I'm just going to bring you the mic.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Just
There's a sustainable library initiative. I don't know if this is working. I think it got turned off. There's a sustainable library initiative that any library can sign up for. It's we've learned about it through the Iowa Library Association, but it started in New York area. And so we just had our board vote to do a certification project. So we have from now up till, I believe, 2028 to complete the certification project. And we did a waste audit. We looked at the library's waste for 1 week, and we analyzed what recycling went into different receptacles that weren't recycling, food waste, and all kinds of different things. So we're excited. We'll be sharing, probably as another presentation later on this year and next year what we're up to. But it's a sustainable library initiative, and you can see their website. They have a lot of information on there.
Rock and roll. Anybody else? Well, awesome. It sounds like you did a great job.
Thanks, President Doug. Appreciate the chance.
Yeah. If somebody wants to take the initiative to reach out to him, can he do that?
Oh,
Because,
Dave, if someone wants the initiative to reach out to you, do you have contact information that we can contact you with? Is that kind of what you want? Yeah.
Because I'm looking for the.
Oh, we lost.
For the last 13
Okay.
years, I've been teaching in Melbourne, so I would like to take the initiative to contact me.
Dave, is there contact information for you?
Yeah, Brenda has it. She could just provide my email, but I can give it to you right now. It's a
We
D.
can do it in chat.
We'll do it in chat.
Oh, and we'll share that in the Rotary letter this coming week. Yep. And brother, we'll make sure you get a copy of it. Carrie.
You want to mention Norland's project?
Yeah, so our governor, Norland, who's a member of our club, one of his projects for this year is that every club will plant a tree for as many members as they have. So right now we have 64 members. Hopefully we'll have 66 by the end of the week. I've been working with Trees Forever to try and get a deal on some trees and looking at this late springtime when we can plant trees. Because not only, 64 trees is a lot of trees. We also just can't show up in a park and throw down 64 trees. So we're looking at where in town we need some trees. Yeah. Well, rock and roll. Thank you guys very much. Dave, we have a book for every speaker that goes to the Clinton Public Library's Children Department. It's a great thing for Literacy Month. And we'll have Brenda and Richard sign on your behalf, but it's called Old Enough to Save the Planet. So it's a pretty good book for today.
Great, thank you.
So-
That's awesome. Thank you very much.
Oh, I don't know. I can't see myself. I don't know what's going
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Thank you.
So thank you guys very much, and hopefully we'll get to meet you somewhere down the line. So awesome. Well, thank you to Dave for greeting. Thank you to Pastor Ray for invocation, and Andy for fellowship. Thank you, Jennifer, and Brenda and Dave for your guys' awesome program. And with that, unite for good. Thank you guys. See you next Monday. Okay, I'm gonna.
Bye, thank you. Yep, yep. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I guess they took off.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
you're
It was an
welcome.
opportunity for you to talk about the
Yeah,
library.
thank
project.
you. I appreciate that.
It's a nice meeting.
Thank you. This is great. Sign will give it to you.
Yep, yep, as long, after you want to put their names in.
Keep planting those trees.
Yes,
Right?
yep.